And in this training, we're going to get back to the grassroots of who you are and what you were created to do. Now, I know this is a pretty massive question, right? But I've got a few different steps that I want to work with you through to try and first figure out this whole issue of what you should be building and where you should be, what you were kind of created to do. I firmly believe, and I've lived and experienced this, right? I firmly believe if you are not doing what you were created to do, if you're not working in your genius zone, if you're not on that right path towards your destination, the one that you actually want to arrive at, you're not going to have success in your business. Or it's going to come at the expense of your happiness, the expense of your personal goals, the expense of just your true contentment, your fulfillment in life, which I don't want for you, right? That's not the way we're going to build a business. We're not here purely just to make money or just to get by. It's going to be much harder to do that if you're not doing what you're supposed to be. So that is the whole point of this lesson right now. Now, I've built businesses before without defining these first few steps from day one, and all it does is waste time and waste money until you actually start to nail this down and figure it out. So I want to get this right with you first. So the first thing we need to do is discover who you are. Not just who you think you are, not just who your mum says you are, not just who your girlfriend say you are, not just who your husband or partner says you are. I want to find out who you actually are, right? Innately, genetically, personally, through your experiences, through your life journey, right? Who you are. Now, the best way to do this, I've found, is through a personality test. So I did my own in 2013, and it completely transformed the way that I approached businesses. And as a result, I ended up making a lot more profit and revenue in return, right? Plus a lot more personal satisfaction when you're doing what you're supposed to do, that thing that comes more naturally. So the whole purpose of this personality test, and I've included 2 examples below. There's one that's a free version that I quite like, and the other is a paid version that I absolutely love. Right? And it's a small price, but it gives you a lot more clarity around who you are. Now, I want to warn you, if this is the first time you've done a personality test properly, I know we all did them back in the day, right? I did one in my business bachelor. I remember doing one in year 12 in psychology back at school. But doing one properly as an adult, as who you are right now, in this moment, in this stage of life, doing a personality test, it's absolutely startling as to what you discover about yourself, right? Startling yet relieving, in the sense that a lot of things just start to make more sense. It starts to connect some of those boxes in your life that perhaps weren't before. And as a female entrepreneur, we need to have our own foundations, right? Our own roots down solidly. We need to know what we stand for and what we don't. What's important to us, what's not. You know, how we tick, what makes us, what kind of drives us. So that's why I want to focus on this now, because everything's just going to make a lot more sense and be far simpler if we do this training first. So the whole reason for doing a personality test is to, 1, discover who you are as a human, and then 2, be able to connect that, to interpret that in a business setting, in your own business setting. So they rely so importantly, so fundamentally on each other when you're in a coach or a consulting business or in professional services. Your business as a female entrepreneur, as a business owner, it does revolve around you as a human being as well. So I want you to be working in the places that you love working in, the places that you're naturally aligned to and created for. And so that's why we do this personality test now. So what I want you to do is click on one of the 2 links below and take the personality test. But first, before you do, I want to walk you through the results from my personality test so you can A, get to know me a little bit better, but more importantly, see how I've applied my personality to my business and the kinds of things I decided to really invest in how I spent my time. Check out my personality test. So here are my results from the Myers-Briggs type personality test, one of the most popular personality tests. I would dare say the most popular personality test in the world. What they always do is give you your reading on the side here, ESTJ. That stands for extroversion, sensing, thinking, and judging. So there's 16 different types of personalities that can come out of a personality test, and it's really interesting to see what your unique combination is. They look at all these kinds of parts of your thinking and your thought patterns, and are able to come up, and your personality obviously, are able to come up with a bit of a snapshot based on 4 different elements of your personality. So for me, I'm a natural administrator. I move quickly to implement decisions, organise projects and people. So I'm a natural doer.
to achieve goals and forceful in implementing their plans, which is true. If I want to get something achieved, I make it happen. They focus on results and bottom line, clear set of logical standards, systematically follow, and want others to follow also. And this one really, you will love this final sentence and whatever it is for you. It's really, really interesting. For me, home, family, health are just my three big ones that I absolutely value above everything else. So I just thought that was absolutely fantastic. And then, of course, financial security and achievement, which is displayed in my entrepreneurialism. So these kinds of elements of what you value, what's important to you based on your personality test, are so great to see written down. And you know it rings true anyway, but it's just awesome to see that laid out. It's also really good to see how it gives you characteristics of who you are and how you operate. It can be quite gregarious. Communication is clear and straightforward. People seldom have to wonder where they stand. They take relationship roles seriously and fulfill them responsibly, which is true for me, almost too true. And what I do with this is pick out elements that are going to help me basically build the type of business that I want to build. So I'm looking for that kind of genius zone. I'm looking for what I'm best at and how I can apply that into my marketing and my business. So obviously communication being clear and straightforward, and that's why I found myself having such a strong education element to my business, because it's just received so well and is really able to connect and make sense to so many people. So that one's been quite successful, and that's how I would have determined that. Fulfilling my relationship roles really seriously. This is something that is really important in building a business, but can also hold me back from building a business in the sense that I invest so much in other people and making sure that I'm happy with where they're at and then everything's ticking for them and almost take their responsibility off them. So that's something that I'm always, trying to work on and balance that to be a leader and a teacher and a trainer and not, make people feel I feel like they don't have the power because they absolutely do. So that's something that I make sure that I'm aware of in how I teach and how I train. Others rely on them to take charge and get things done. So that automatically implies that I should be a leader in the kind of business that I have and not be afraid to do that. Ruled by logic. Typically that means be careful going into a creative industry or going into something that's, I wouldn't want to be doing art classes or anything like that. I'm very much a logical mind, and that relates really well to business, which is great. So there's also things down here about preferred jobs with results which are immediate, tangible and visible. And that's completely aligns with what I do in my whole doing nature and in the business models and the kinds of things that I teach is it is results based, and it is all about achieving quickly and moving in the right direction. That's where you can see how fluff and dreaming and planning and thinking and wishing aren't elements that I like to invest a lot of time on. I absolutely love to be practical, to the point, and get stuff done. And so, that's a perfect synergy with how I teach and my approach to business. So it's, they have a natural bent for business, industry, production, construction, excellent administrators, and so on. Looking for your blind spots too is so revealing and really, really important. So it's fantastic to make sure that you're looking at all these areas. How you relate with others, how you are at work, and then also the potential things that you need to be aware of and looking out for. So this feedback based on the answers that I entered for my Myers-Briggs personality test are so fantastic to read through and then start relaying them back to your business. What should I be doing? What shouldn't I be doing? Where are my genius zones? And we'll have a look through that more as well.
So I hope you found that helpful. Now I want you to click on one of the two buttons below, either the free or the paid version, and I want you to take that personality test yourself. Then I want you to analyze it and enjoy exploring yourself, but more importantly, apply that personality to your business model and the kinds of things you want to focus more on in your business and where you feel like you're going to be naturally aligned. Let's do the personality test now.